Hello fellow YouTubers. This is a response to VenomFangX. He starts off by talking about goo and the zoo and monkeys and earthworms, and I don't really think we are descended from any of those things. They may be cousins, but that's all. And he's really appealing to our self-esteem. I mean, if somebody called you a monkey, that's an insult. So he's appealing to that, and it's not relevant to the truth or otherwise of the theory of evolution. He's also trying to set himself up as an authority on the subject. He, for example, says, "Do you know this?" And you say, "No." And he says, "Well, I'll tell you why. I.e., you are stupid, he's clever." He talks about bad behaviour, and he thinks that bad behaviour is caused by the fact that they don't have the Ten Commandments in schools anymore. Well, I didn't have the Ten Commandments in my school, and we were well behaved, mainly because the teachers used to beat us, which, by the way, is not allowed anymore. And he also appeals to myths. He talks about the Bible, the stories in the Bible. He says that the Bible is not compatible with the theory of evolution. I think that's one of the few things he's right about. He talks about Noah. Well, has he really thought about Noah? Noah was supposed to have collected all the animals in the world, 2 of some species and 7 of others. 7 seems an odd number. Maybe 1 was there just to watch. Anyway, he has to go around the world collecting all these animals, and then he has to bring them all back to this boat, and then for 40 days and 40 nights, or whatever it was, he's wandering around, and then he has to take them all back to where they come from. Now, if anyone thinks about that, it seems completely ridiculous. How could Noah collect polar bears, kangaroos, lions, tigers, elephants, earthworms, monkeys, all the viruses, everything? What about the fish? And it's not really clear whether the fish managed to survive the flood. Anyway, he had to collect all these animals. He had to invent the shovel, because if you imagine all those animals on a boat, he would need a shovel. And then he talks about God and Satan apparently rules the world. I don't know how God managed to allow that to happen. And if you really think about it, why does he allow Satan to live at all? Well, the theory of that is, so I've read, is that God wants Satan to have 1,000 years to be in charge. It's not quite clear which 1,000 years. And during that 1,000 years, he's going to be given the chance to confess that he's wrong, or admit that he's sinful. And then at the end, he'll be asked, do you confess? And he'll say no. Then he'll be thrown into the bottomless pit and exterminated. And then there'll be a new glorious world where nothing ever goes wrong. Now, there's a slight problem with this idea. Well, a couple of problems actually. First of all, why wait 1,000 years? Why not just get it over with now? We know that Satan's not going to improve, so why not just get rid of him now? And in any case, God is supposed to be timeless, so to him 1,000 years is nothing. So, why wait? And in any case, if there is going to be a world, either in heaven or on earth, where nothing ever goes wrong, this sort of contradicts the other idea that the reason things went wrong in the first place was that we were given free will. What's going to stop them going wrong again? Presumably we'll still have free will when this glorious world is brought to us, when Jesus comes back to save us all. We'll still have free will, so things will go wrong again. And if you say, well, no, it's going to be different this time, well, why wasn't it different in the first place? God knows everything. He knew all this was going to go wrong. I'm sure he would have, if he does know everything, he would have made sure things were right in the first place. I think that the theory of evolution, if you really study it, is something that really can't can't argue against it, because each of the elements of the theory are well-known facts. For example, animals do have more offspring than can possibly survive. That is a fact. Characteristics are genetically determined. That's another fact. There's variation. Every individual is different to every other individual. Variation is bound to happen. Lots of animals fail to mature. If they didn't, the world would be overrun with elephants, for example. So all of the facts that theory is based on are known facts. You can't dismiss any of them. If you study them, they're all absolutely firm facts. There's no doubt about them at all. So if you combine all these facts together, evolution is inevitable. Whether you like it or not, it's bound to happen. The pictures you've been looking at are all from a trip I did recently to a little place called Down in Kent, in England. And I went to visit Darwin's house, and I just thought it would be nice for you to see where he actually worked for something like 40 years, where he raised his family, where he did his experiments, and it was a wonderful experience to actually go there and see his chair where he wrote his books, to see his greenhouse where he did experiments. If you look at all the work he did a phenomenal amount of work on the theory of evolution before he set it down on paper. And if VenomFangX spent that amount of time investigating his ideas, I'm fairly sure he would change his mind. Bye-bye.